going to do some eco-printing. Eco-printing is a very simple technique that allows you to directly transfer the pigment in plants and then transfer those pigments onto either paper or onto cloth. Here's an example of a fern leaf that's been eco-printed onto paper. And here we've got some lovely examples of eco-prints of flowers onto cloth.
And today we're going to use Coreopsis, which we've grown ourselves in our dye gardens here in Lancaster in the northwest of England. And there are many different types of Coreopsis, and we have two different types here today. And one of them is Coreopsis tinctoria, which when you hear that word tinctoria, you know that it will get a good dye from it. It's being used for dyeing. So what I'm going to show you is single layer roll, which involves a single layer of fabric, plastic underneath, which helps to seal in the colour and stop bleeding, and a rod which you use to roll at the end. So I can start that by, we have a number of different flowers and stems and leaves, and it's just a case of filling this up really. The fabric is slightly damp to start with, not too much, so that's the fabric, and you really just start laying your flowers. And I'm going to do a mixture of the Coreopsis on this, and the stems and the leaves can be used as well, and the main thing is to cover all the space on the fabric as much as you can really. So you can just use your own, do what you feel like as you go along really, for experimenting with different parts of the flower, and place them where you feel you want to yourself, and no two flowers are the same, so it's just it'll all be very interesting to see kind of what comes out in the end really. Now I'm happy with how many things and how I've laid it out, so we're ready to roll. And with rolling you just need to, some sticks may not be as clean as others, so it's best to roll them slightly in the plastic first to get yourself started, so they're nice and clean by the time it's nice and clean then by the time you get here. And make sure that you keep it straight and keep a good eye on that, because you won't, if you go off to the side either way, you won't be able to pull it back in. And as you're rolling, you need to do it very, very tightly, so that you're sealing everything in and there won't be any seepage when you're steaming it later. So you're being very careful here to look ahead and see anything that's risen up, and make sure you get it under as you go along. So now we're at the point, we've rolled it up, you've got your roll, and you need to tie it very, very tightly with some kind of cord or twine. The key is to tie it very, very tightly, because you're sealing it in doing that. So make sure you have plenty tightness there at the end, and then you're going to work your way across your bundle, your roll, sorry. You're working your way across it tightly, so you just use your own discretion, but as to how it needs to be very tight, so you'll figure that out as you're doing it.
We're going to steam it in this pan, so we've just got a little bit of water in the bottom, and then we've got a steaming basket. which I'm just going to place into the pan. And then we're going to put the heat on. As well as using just a simple pan, you can also use an electric steamer.
Now I'm going to open this. It's the single layer roll.
For our next technique, we're going to show you how to make a double layer roll. So for that, I just need my piece of dowel or my stick, I need my barrier plastic, and then I've got my cloth. So for this technique, we've got double the width that we used for the single layer roll. And I'm just going to fold it over now, and I'm going to give myself a crease down the roll so I know where the halfway point is. So just like the last technique, this cloth is slightly damp as it's just come out of the spin dryer. So you can use the leaves, you can use the stalks. You could add a bit of another flower, so I'm going to add in a little bit of the French marigold. The French marigold is quite a chunky flower, so I'm not going to use that part because it would be very bumpy to roll. So now I've got that quite well covered, so now I'm going to fold the cloth over. And get a reasonable match. And I'm going to pop any bits in that are sticking out. And then I'm going to try and flatten it with my hands. And now I'm going to start rolling. It'll be a little bit chunkier to roll this one. I'm just going to take it nice and slowly. Then when you've finished your roll, just put your thumb on where the plastic ends. So the tighter you wrap your string or your twine around, the better the bond you're going to get between the plant material and the cloth.